Welcome to the course Compiler Design. In this lecture, again we will continue with the predictive parser. So in our last lecture, we discussed about predictive parsing introduction, model, then working of predictive parser, then demonstrated with one example. So now with the continuation of predictive parser, now in this lecture, we will discuss about two important computations for a construction of predictive parsing table. So the two computation values are required. The first one is first values, then the second one is follow values. Then how to compute this first and follow values? Then we will demonstrate one example also. So these two are essential for construction of predictive parsing table. So now how to define, then what are the rules for computation of first and follow values, we will see. The predictive parser can be easily constructed once we know first and follow sets. So without these, we can't construct a predictive parsing table. These sets of symbols help us to construct the predictive parsing table very easily. So this is the purpose of first and follow sets. Then let us see one by one with the definition, rules or algorithm, then followed by example. First, how to define first value. Suppose first of alpha, let us say inside the function alpha is there. So which is defined as set of terminals that appear in the beginning of derivation derived from alpha. Suppose here you derived a derivation from alpha with 0 or more steps. So now here, whatever here you will get. So the terminals, starting terminals in the right hand side. So those can be treated as first values. So then first of alpha is equal to the terminal in the right hand side of the derivation. So formally, first of alpha is defined as shown below. Here we have various possibilities. So first of alpha equal to null. So when this is null, if alpha equal to null, that means then first of null is equal to null only. Then second case also epsilon. Second case also epsilon. So when if alpha derives null, so in the process of derivation of alpha, if alpha derives null, so then at the time also first of alpha equal to null only. Then second case, if the derivation is in the form of alpha derives a beta, here small a is terminal, then therefore first of alpha is this terminal. Therefore first of alpha equal to a, that means first of a beta. Here you can say this can be written as first of a beta equal to, yeah, in the derivation the first symbol, what it contains terminal. So directly you can take the terminal as the first value. So these are all the three cases for first value. So now let us demonstrate one example first. Compute first sets for each non-terminal in the following grammar. So the first values can be computed for each and every non-terminal that is occurred in the left-hand side of the production. So now here we need to find out first of E, first of E dash, first of T, first of T dash, first of F. So these values can be obtained by seeing the derivation starting with these respective variables or non-terminals by substitution. In the right hand side, if it start with a terminal, then you can take terminal is the first value. If it start with null or if it contains null, then first of that variable value is null. Then right hand side completely derives null. Then first of the left hand side variable value is null only. So then other than these cases, if any variable is there, so then first you need to find out the variable first values, again using the derivation of that respective variable. Like that we have to continue. Now let us see here first. The first sets for the given grammar can be computed by obtaining various derivations as shown below. So let us see the first production E derives T E dash. So actually in the right hand side, you need to find out the starting. If it contains a terminal, then that is the first value. But here t is not a terminal, this is variable. So now you can substitute again derivation of t till a terminal is occurred in the right hand side leftmost. Now t derives ft dash is substituted here. Now ft dash is substituted. Then e dash remains same. Again the leftmost f is again a variable or non-terminal. Now what f contains? We have f production c within parentheses. Then t dash e dash remains same. Now here you can see it is in the form of a beta. This entire one after left parenthesis, the entire part is beta. Now here small a is left parenthesis. So this is first of e, one value. First of e equal to left parenthesis. Similarly, if you can substitute other production for f here, we have two alternatives for f. So f derives id is substituted here. Now id is small a, which is a terminal. Now this entire one is beta. So now here first of e equal to id. So now therefore you can combine these two values. Therefore first of e, here you can see first of e is equivalent to first of t. Why? Because t is the starting variable in the derivation. Now first of t equal to again t value is substituted with f. So therefore first of t value is equivalent to t, then first of t is equivalent to f, then first of f equal to left parenthesis, then here first of f equal to id. Therefore first of f equal to left parenthesis and id. This is equivalent to first of t. This is equal to first of e. Why? Because in the grammar derivation these variables are occurred in the starting of the derivation. Therefore first of e, first of t, first of f all are having same first set values. So like that, if any variable is there in the derivation, you can find like this. Then otherwise, as per our definition, if direct terminal, if direct epsilon, or if it derives terminal, so there directly you can write the values. Now you can see the other productions. So other than the previous productions we used, other productions, e dash derives plus t dash, then e dash derives null. Now you can see here directly terminal is there. Therefore here first of e dash equal to plus, as per the definition, third case. Now here e dash derives null. So here directly null is there. Therefore first of null equal to null only. Therefore first of e dash equal to epsilon comma plus. Similarly t dash derives star f t dash, then t dash derives null. Why? Because t dash contains two productions. Therefore first of t dash equal to terminal in the starting, in the derivation. So star. Then here first of t dash equal to null. As per the definition, if it contains null, then first of null equal to null only. If it contains terminal, first of terminal equal to terminal only. Therefore first of t dash equal to epsilon comma asterisk. So like that you can find out first values by seeing terminal in the starting of the derivation. If it is variable, then you can find that variable first values. Again you can substitute there like this. Now finally the final first sets are shown below for all the variables in the grammar, that is e, e dash, t, t dash, f, what we obtained in the above. So by using direct definition. So now by this process, we have one standard algorithm for computing first values. So before discussing algorithm, so what is use of first values or first sets? So the first sets can be used during predictive parsing while constructing the predictive parsing table as shown below. So here consider a production starting with variable a is in the form of a derives alpha or beta, and assume first of alpha and first of beta. This is first of alpha, first of alpha. Here you can see this is first of alpha and first of beta does not have any common value, that is disjoint. So that is empty. Empty is nothing but this is nothing but pi. So which is an empty set. So now at that time we have to consider the production a derives alpha or beta. Now if the input symbol obtained from lexical analyzer, if input symbol obtained from lexical analyzer is small a, and if a is in first of alpha, that means first of alpha equal to terminal a, then you can use the production a derives alpha during parsing. So when you can use this production A derives alpha, this first of alpha contains a terminal A, then during parsing, whenever a terminal corresponding with a variable A is occurred, then you can use the corresponding production A derives alpha. So this can be used during construction of the predictive parsing table. Similarly, if the input symbol obtained from lexical analyzer is small b, and if b is in first of beta, then we use the production A derives beta during parsing. That means here A derives beta. Now here first of beta, this one contains a terminal b. Then during predictive parsing table construction, from the variable with the terminal b combination, we have to use A derives beta production. So that's why these are all the uses of first sets in construction of predictive parsing table. Thus, using first sets, we can choose what production to use between two productions is in the form of A derives alpha or beta when input symbol is either A or B. So that is use of first sets. Now let us see the algorithm for computing first values. So algorithm first of x. Here x is a grammar symbol. To compute first of x for all grammar symbols x, apply the following rules until no more terminals or null can be added to any first set. Rule 1, you can see now onwards, to compute first values, you can use the following rules as per this algorithm. If x derives A alpha is a production, where in the derivation right hand side starting we have a terminal small a, where small a is a terminal, then first of x equal to terminal. So this we already seen in the initial definition of first of alpha. So here first of x equal to the terminal. Now rule 2, if x derives epsilon, that means right hand side if you have a epsilon production, then add epsilon to first of x directly. So therefore first of x equal to epsilon. That is rule 2. This also in the initial definition we saw. So same thing here included in the algorithm as a rule. Then coming to rule 3, this rule 3 and rule 4 are very important. If x is a non-terminal and x contains a production, x derives y1, y2 and so on yn is a production, and if y1, y2 and so on yi minus 1 derives null under asterisk with 0 or more steps. Here you can see not all values in the right hand side derives null. Some of the values, let us say till I minus 1. Then what you have to do, first of x can be obtained by adding non-epsilon symbols in first of yi. So before yi minus 1, so whichever derives a null, then you can find out first of that terminal, that variable value. Then you can add all the first values of that variable excluding null. So that is non-epsilon symbols of first of y. For example, y1 derives epsilon. Then what you have to do? First of y1 you have to find out minus epsilon. This can be added to left hand side a variable, that is first of x, like this. If y1 contains null or y1 derives null, then you can find out first of y1 other than null some other values are there. You can add non-epsilon symbols in first of y1 to first of x. Similarly, if y2 derives null, then y3 derives null and so on. Like that we have to proceed. So every time you can add non-epsilon symbols in first of yi to first of x. Similarly, in the right hand side completely all the grammar symbols derives null. So x derives y1, y2 and so on yn is a production. If y1, y2 and so on yi minus 1 derives null, then first of x equal to null. That means all the symbols in the given grammar in the right hand side derives null, then the first of x equal to null as per the initial definition. Then the last rule, if x is a terminal or null, then first of x equal to same as x value. Suppose here x equal to epsilon, then first of x equal to x only. That means epsilon. If x is a terminal, then first of x equal to the terminal itself. So like that you can find. So now using these 5 rules. So only rule 3 and rule 4, we have to concentrate in the derivation if it contains a variable at that time. So otherwise, right hand side starting of the derivation, if it contains null, if it contains terminal, directly you can take the terminal values as the first values of the variable starting with left hand side. Now rule wise, let us see some examples to compute first value as per the previous algorithm. So rule 1 is applied if the first symbol on the right hand side of the production is a terminal. If so, then add only the first symbol. For example, the first case you can see A derives small a BC. Now in the right hand side of the derivation, it start with a terminal. Therefore, first of A equal to the terminal itself. Then similarly, E derives plus TE dash. Now in the derivation, it is starting with plus in the right hand side starting. Therefore, first of E equal to plus only. Then another example, if A derives terminal A BC, then first of A equal to the first terminal A itself. See, whenever you can find in the right hand side starting a terminal, then you can't consider remaining symbols after terminal. Only first symbol only you have to consider. Why? Because the name itself, which denotes first value. Like that, you have to apply rule 1 if it start with a terminal in the right hand side for any production. Then rule 2 is applied for only epsilon productions. That means if a variable derives epsilon or in the right hand side it contains a null production, then directly you can apply rule 2. Then first of null equal to null only. So now A derives epsilon. That means here A derives null production. That means A is a null production. In this case, first of A equal to null only. Then again E dash derives null. E dash contains null production. Therefore, first of E dash equal to null only. Directly, you can take this null value. That is rule 2. Then rule 3. Rule 3 is that means right hand side if it contains a variable starting of the right hand side production. Then rule 3 is applied for all productions not considered in the first 2 steps. So now consider the production. Here you can see S derives variable A, variable B, variable C, then terminal D. So in the right hand side of the production, it is starting with a variable A. That means it is in the form of rule 3. Then A contains null or plus B. Then B contains null or star B. Then C contains null or percentage B. So these are the productions of A, B, C. So now you need to find out here you can see first of S equal to, you need to find out first of A in the right hand side starting. Then you can find out first of A. First of A equal to, let us see, first of A directly it is starting with null, then starting with terminal. So 2 alternatives, null comma plus. So but here you can see A derives null as per the rule 3. If A derives null, then what you have to do? You can add non-epsilon symbols of first of A in first of S. So like that you have to continue. Suppose here A derives null means then whenever you can substitute A as null, then you have to proceed to next symbol also. Why? Because if A does not contain null, we can't see B. But here A contains null, compulsory you have to check B also. Then first of B null comma asterisk. Then again B also contains null. Then you can substitute AB as null. Then what you will get? C. So therefore, then you need to consider C also, first of C. First of C contains epsilon comma percentage. Again, if you can substitute C as null, B as null, A as null. Now ABC is null. Then what you will get? First of D, terminal directly. So terminal. So now all first values are included in first of S because of right hand side all variables deriving null. So like that you have to apply. That is Y derives Y1, Y2 and so on, Yi minus 1. So if any Yi contains null, then you can add non-epsilon symbols to first of Yi. So now let us see. Same whatever I explained, that is shown here. So now here, rule 3 is applied for all the productions not considered in the first two steps. First of A, first of B, and first of C are computed using rules 1 and 2. So as usual, why? Because directly starting with terminal or null. Therefore, first of A equal to null comma place. First of B equal to null comma star. First of C equal to null comma percentage. Directly using rule 1 and rule 2. Then for S productions, now we'll apply rule 3. Now here you can see. So to compute first of S, we have to consider the productions S derives variable A, variable B, variable C, terminal D, and apply rule 3 as shown below. Now you can see in the right hand side, first variable A you can check. So S derives variable A, then variable B, variable C, terminal D. So now here A contains null. That's why you have to add non-epsilon symbols of first of A. In first of A, non-epsilon symbols to adding to first of S. Now in the previous, we already calculated first of A. First of A equal to null comma epsilon. So other than null, you can add plus to first of A to first of S. Now here you can see. Therefore, first of S equal to first of A minus null. Therefore, first of A in the previous table, first of A equal to what we obtained, null comma plus. Other than null, you can add plus. So now here plus is added to first of S. So now why we have considered like this? Here A derives null. If A does not derive null, then directly you can take first values of A as it is. Now here A derives null. If you can substitute A as null, then what you have to do? Next input symbol you have to, next grammar symbol you have to check. Why? Because as per the rule 3. So now here you can see here A derives null. So therefore now we have to consider B. So add non-epsilon symbols of first of B to first of A. Same process you can repeat. Now what is first of B? In the previous table here you can see first of B equal to null comma asterisk. So other than null means you can add asterisk to asterisk in first of B to first of S. Then here asterisk is added. So like that you have to repeat till the rule 3 for all the symbols in the right hand side. Now here you can see add non-epsilon symbols of first of B to first of S. Therefore first of S equal to first of B minus null, then star is added. Now B also derives null, then you have to consider C. Why? Because after substituting AB as null, then what is your symbol? C. So that's why now here you can see. Now here since A and B derives null, then add from C non-epsilon symbols in first of C to first of S. Then what is first of C? Actually percentage comma null. Then non-epsilon means excluding null. Then first of C percentage symbol is added to first of S. Now finally, now C is also derives null. See here you can see the grammar. You can remember. In the grammar you can see A derives null, B derives null, C derives null. That's why we are substituting null value. Then you are proceeding to next symbol in the derivation. Now after substituting ABC as null, then what you will get in the right hand side? The last symbol. So the last symbol is D, which is what is the D here? Terminal. Therefore, add non-epsilon symbols of first of D to first of S. First of terminal only you will get. Anyway, here null is not there in first of D. Therefore, D is added to first of S. Therefore, by combining all these values, then first of S, let us see here. So all the first values are shown below. Now first of S equal to here percentage, comma, asterisk, comma plus, comma D. This is all first value. Here null is not there because of rule 3. So like that you have to apply rule 3. Whereas rule 4 is nothing but right hand side. Here ABC, suppose here capital D is there. If capital D is also derived null, then means ABCD derives null. Then what you have to do? The first of S equal to null. Null is added to first of S. That is nothing but rule 4. Now let us see here. Rule 4 is applied for all the productions whose right hand side gives null. Suppose here consider the following production. Here you can see here S derives all variables in the right hand side A, B, C. Now here A derives null, B derives null, then C derives null. So as usual, by rule 3, you can add non-epsilon symbols in first of A to first of S, then non-epsilon symbols in first of B to first of S, then non-epsilon symbols in first of C to first of S. That you can apply as it is. Then rule 1 and 2 apply, you can apply for null comma terminal for ABC productions. Then finally, rule 4, here you can see S derives ABC. Now here A derives null, B derives null, then C derives null. Therefore, ABC derives null. All are deriving null. Therefore, then this is added to first of S equal to null value. In addition to previous values, then null is also added. That is the rule 4. Now you can see. So first you have to compute first of A, first of B, and first of C using rule 1 and 2 as usual. First of A equal to null comma plus, first of B equal to null comma star, first of C equal to null comma percentage. Then you can apply rule 3 also for S derives ABC. So to compute first of S, consider the productions S derives ABC, apply rule 3 as shown below. So same as previous one, first of A, it derives null, therefore non-epsilon symbols of first of A added to first of S. Therefore first of S equal to first of A minus null equal to plus. Then A derives null means then we have to consider B also. Now here you can see, since A derives null, then add non-epsilon symbols of first of B to first of S. Then first of S equal to first of B minus null equal to star. Then B also derives null. That means both AB derives null. Then you have to consider C. Therefore, AB derives null, then add non-epsilon symbols of first of C to first of S. Therefore, first of S equal to first of C minus null equal to percentage. Now, ABC all derives null in the right hand side. Then you have to apply rule 4 here. So only in the right hand side, all the symbols derives null, then only you can apply rule 4. To compute first of S, now here you can see S derives ABC. Since ABC derives null, then add epsilon to first of S. That is rule 4. Therefore, first of S equal to previous first values, then this value. All you can add to first of S. Now, finally, here you can see first of S equal to percentage star plus epsilon. These are all the first of S values. So rule 3 is whenever right hand side, if any variable derives null, then you can add non-epsilon symbols of that first value to first of left hand side variable. So then like that, if first variable derives null, then you can check with the second variable. Second variable also derives null, then you can see the third variable. Like that, you can continue for rule 3. Whereas rule 4, in the right hand side, all variables derives null. Then what you have to do? You can add null to first of left hand side variable. So like that, by using these rules, you can compute all first values. Now rule 5, that is only applied for terminals. So that means directly first of alpha, first of terminal equal to terminal only. Suppose plus is a terminal, therefore first of plus equal to terminal. So not in the production. Directly first of terminal means the terminal only. Suppose small a is terminal, first of a equal to terminal only. Then ID is terminal, first of ID equal to ID only. So like that you can find out first values. So now here, finally, let us come to one note here. Suppose the first of x1, x2, x3 and so on xn. If we have like this can be computed as follows. As for the rule 3 and rule 4, first of x1, x2 and so on xn equal to first of x1 minus null. Here x1 contains null, then you can add non-epsilon symbols of first of x1 to first of this one. Then if x1 contains null means, then what you have to do? You can proceed to next one. So therefore, first of x1 equal to null, then first of x1 and so on xn equal to first of x2 minus null. Then second one, you can add non-epsilon symbols. Then first of x1, first of x2 contains null. Then third one, first of x3 minus null is added to this value. Finally, here you can see first of x1 equal to first of x2 equal to, and so on, first of xn equal to null. All are null in the right hand side. Therefore, the entire first of x1 to xn value equal to null only. So like that, you can compute the first values. So this is the procedure for computing first values, and as for the algorithm with 5 steps. So now here one practice problem is given. You can practice. Now compute first values for the following grammar. In examination, you will get questions like this. But here combination of both first and follow value you can get. So now E derives T dash, E dash derives plus T dash are null, T derives FT dash, T dash derives star FT dash are null, F derives E within parenthesis or ID. Similar fashion, you can compute the first values for all these variables in the left hand side using the rules 1 to 5 in the algorithm. So now let us move to follow value. Next one. Let us see the definition of follow. So follow of A for a non-terminal A. Now here we are considering capital A as the non-terminal. E is defined as set of terminals. So again, capital A follow value is nothing but set of terminals that will appear immediately in the right of A. That means in the derivation, wherever variable A is there, immediately right side of A, if a terminal is occurred, so that is called as follow of A. So that is set of terminal small a such that there exists a derivation of the form. Let us see here. Now S derives under asterisk 0 or more steps alpha variable A, terminal A, then beta for some alpha and beta. Now here you can see. So here we can't find follow values for left hand side symbol directly. So you can find follow value wherever the variable occurred in the right hand side of some derivation. Then immediately after that variable, any terminal is occurred, then the terminal is in follow of that variable. Now here you can see in this form here follow of A equal to terminal A. So now if A is here, you can see here what you have to do, follow of the variable A equal to terminal. Terminal is occurred immediately after the variable. So directly we can't find left hand side follow. So right hand side, a variable followed by a terminal, then follow of that variable equal to that terminal. So now suppose the second case, if the variable A is appeared in the last symbol in the some sentential form, then you have to place dollar in follow of A, where the symbol dollar is treated as end marker. That means here S derives alpha A beta, now capital A. So now A is occurred as the last symbol in the sentential form. Therefore, here follow of A equal to dollar. Dollar is added. This you can remember. So this is the follow definition. Now directly here, let us see the algorithm. So this algorithm is very simple. You are having only 2 rules. So if S is a variable in any grammar, F is starting variable, then the follow of that starting variable equal to dollar, that is initial step. So follow of S equal to dollar. That means if S is the start symbol, then follow of S equal to dollar. Dollar is added to follow of S only for starting variable. Then rule 2, if the production is of the form A derives alpha variable B, then beta is a production. Here beta not equal to null. That means compulsory beta contains some symbols other than null. So then only you can apply this rule. Then you can see follow of B equal to non-epsilon symbols in first of beta. So here first of beta, you can find out whatever the beta value. So other than epsilon, that first values are added to follow of B. Therefore, follow of B equal to non-epsilon symbols in first of beta. That is follow of B equal to first of beta minus null. For example, here in the given grammar, let us see E derives plus T dash. Now let us assume this is alpha B beta. Now here B is terminal variable T. Now beta is E dash. Therefore, first of E dash equal to, in the previous example, you will get plus comma null. then other than null plus. So plus is added to follow of t. Therefore, follow of t equal to first of beta. Here means first of e dash minus null. Here what you will get, first of e dash other than null plus. This is follow value. Like that you can find out. Then we have one more rule also. So if beta contains null, here this case is beta not equal to null. If beta contains null, that is rule 3. Now here you can see the productions are of the form same as rule 2. A derives alpha b beta or alpha b. Here beta is null, is a production, and beta derives null. This one derives null. So here nothing is there means null. Then that means first of beta contains null. Then what you have to do? Follow of this variable equal to follow of left hand side variable. Therefore, follow of b equal to follow of a. That means follow of b is equivalent to follow of a. So using rule 3, you can find out the left hand side variable follow values also. Therefore, follow of b equal to follow of a. So whatever follow of b, same values in follow of t. So if beta equal to null, apply rule 3. Beta not equal to null, apply rule 2. So like that in the left hand side, for all possibilities, you can apply rule 2 and rule 3. So then you will get various follow values. Now let us demonstrate one example. So our previous first practice problem, first values practice problem only we are considering. The compute first and follow sets for the following grammar. E equal to t dash, e dash equal to plus t dash or null, t equal to ft dash, t dash equal to star ft dash or null, f equal to e within parenthesis or id. See, one point you have to remember, whenever if you want to compute follow value, compulsory you need to find out first value. Why? Because in follow rules, first value is also used. Therefore, now here you can compute first values first. First of e equal to this one, t dash, nothing but first of t. This is equal to first of t dash. So here first one you can consider. This is equal to first of t. If t contains null, that means first of t contains null or t derives null production, then you can consider e dash also. But here you can see t does not contain null production. So only first one only you have to consider. Then first of t, first you need to find out. First of t equal to first of f. This is equal to first of ft dash. If first of f contains null or f derives null, then you can consider t dash also. But f does not contain null production. Therefore, here you can consider only first of f only. Now, if we can find first of f, same values in first of t, then same values in first of e. 3 values you will get. Now you can find out first of f equal to first of e within parentheses. Now you can see the starting, it start with terminal. So a beta form as per the rule. So now here what you will get, only the left parenthesis only. Then another one, if you can take f as id, so therefore first of f equal to first of id. So id is a single terminal. So here you will get id only. Therefore, first of f, by combining these two, what you will get, left parenthesis comma id. This is equal to first of t, left parenthesis comma id. Now that is equal to first of e, left parenthesis comma id. Now here you can see we obtained e, t, f first values. E, t, f. Now other than these remaining productions, you can consider e dash derives plus t dash or null. Apply rule 1 and 2, that is terminal null value. T dash derives star null. So apply rule 1 and 2. Now here you will get first of e dash equal to plus comma null. Directly you will get as per rule 1 and 2. Then first of t dash also same. T dash equal to null comma star. So here star comma null. So directly now for all the variables, now first sets are calculated. So very simple. Now all this you can list in the table. Now here you can see. So whatever we computed, first of E dash T dash F. So the values are listed. So before proceeding to find follow values, compulsory first is required. Otherwise we can't find. Now let us come to our follow values. As for the rule one, for starting variable follow, you can add dollar. So here in the given grammar, E is the starting variable. Therefore, follow of E equal to dollar is added as per the rule one. Then coming to rule two. So rule two and rule three apply for every production of the form A derives alpha, B beta, where B is a non-terminal. That means a variable. Now in the tabular format, here parallelly rule 2 and rule 3 are applied for all the productions with all combinations. Here you can see in the tabular format I have given. So first column applying rule 2. When you can apply rule 2 if the production is in the form of alpha, B, beta, if beta not equal to null. If beta not equal to null, then only rule 2 is applicable. If beta derives null or beta equal to null, then you can apply rule 3. Now each production you can apply all the rules. So now first you can see E derives TE dash. Here I have made color codes. You can observe carefully. So the colors represents alpha, B, beta values. Now first I have taken E derives TE dash. Now here first one alpha is not there, null. So here I am assuming B as T. So here color is same. Then beta is E dash. So here B is T, then beta is E dash. You can see the color code. In all steps I have used the same format. So therefore, as per rule 2, what you have to do? Here beta not equal to null. So after the variable B, beta is there. You can find out first of beta value. First of beta value other than null, you can add to fall of B. Therefore, fall of B means here T. Fall of T equal to first of E dash. Here E dash means beta, this one. So E dash minus null. In the previous table, we know first of E dash equal to plus comma null. Other than null, you can add to this set. Therefore, fall of T equal to plus. Similarly, you can change alpha beta values next time. Suppose you can assume alpha as T, then B as E dash, then beta is null. Here you can see beta equal to null. This is not allowed in rule 2. Therefore, beta is null. Rule 2 is not applicable. So like that, all cases you can verify. Now coming to rule 3, E derives T E dash. So now again here you can see we assumed alpha as null. Now B is T, beta is T dash. So now if beta derives null, then only rule 3 is applied. Now beta means E dash. So E dash derives null. In the given grammar, we have the production. E dash, because of this one, E dash contains null production. Then what you have to do here, B is T. Fall of T equal to fall of E. So therefore, fall of T equal to fall of E. So whenever you can find fall of T values, then fall of E is also same, like that. Then similarly, you can change alpha B beta value. Now alpha is T. Now B is E dash. Now beta is null. Directly here we assumed beta as null. Then what you have to do? E dash. Fall of E dash is in fall of E. Therefore, fall of E dash equal to fall of E. So why? Because for rule 3, you can change alpha B beta values. Why? Because you'll get different grammar symbols, follow values. Now, that is the first production. E derives T E dash. Here 2, 2. Total 4 combinations. Then coming to next production, E dash derives plus T E dash. Same rule 2. Alpha B beta. Now beta first of E dash minus epsilon is added to fall of T. So fall of T equal to first of E dash minus epsilon equal to plus. Then if you can change alpha B beta value in rule 2, if you can assume alpha as plus T, then B as E dash. But here you can see beta contains null. So rule 2 is not applicable. Then similarly E dash derives plus T dash, alpha B beta. Now here beta contains null. That means derives null. E dash derives null. Therefore, fall of T, that means fall of B equal to fall of E. Fall of T equal to fall of E dash. If you can change alpha B beta value plus T, you can assume it as alpha. Then E dash as B, beta as null. Now here you can see fall of E dash is fall of E dash. Here no change. Why? Because same follow value you are getting. So this is not applicable here. Then coming to next production, T derives Ft dash. Again, you can see alpha is null, F is B, T dash is beta. Now here beta does not contain null, therefore rule 2 is applicable. Then first of T dash we can find out that values non-epsilon first of T dash values are added to fall of F. Therefore, fall of F equal to first of T dash minus null. So star is there. Similarly, if you can change alpha is F, B is T dash, beta is null. So whenever beta is null in rule 2, not applicable. Then T derives Ft dash. If you can change alpha, B, beta. Previously alpha is null, now alpha is F, B is T dash, beta is null. Then fall of T dash equal to fall of T. Then coming to next production, T dash derives star Ft dash. So now alpha, B, beta, T dash. So first of T dash minus null, star is added to fall of F. Then if you can assume star F as the alpha, then B as T dash, beta as null. Whenever beta is null in rule 2, not applicable. Then you can apply rule 3, T dash derives star Ft dash. So here beta means T dash derives null. Therefore, fall of F is in fall of T dash. Therefore, fall of F equal to fall of T dash. Then if you can change alpha, beta values, star F is alpha, B is T dash, beta is null. Then fall of T dash equal to fall of T dash. Here also no change. Because same follow value we are getting. Then last production, F derives E within parentheses. Now, if you can make alpha as left parenthesis, B as E, always B you can assume it as variable only. Then beta as right parenthesis. Now see, first of beta minus null is added to fall of B. That means fall of E. Therefore, fall of E equal to first of right parenthesis. Here you won't get null. So first of right parenthesis equal to right parenthesis only. Similarly, apply alpha B beta. Here alpha is null, B is E, beta is not null. Therefore, this is not equal to null. Here, beta not equal to null. Therefore, rule 3 not applicable here. Now you can see all these steps. Now you can write all the follow values. Then you can combine. The final values are given in the table. You can see. So follow of E equal to dollar comma right parenthesis, E dash equal to same dollar comma right parenthesis, T equal to plus dollar right parenthesis, T dash equal to same, then F equal to plus star dollar right parenthesis. So now by using these conditions, suppose here once you know fall of A, then same values are in fall of B, like that. By combining all the follow values, finally these are all the follow values. So now you can practice one similar problem, but you can find out both first and follow sets for the following grammar. Here you can see S derives ICTS, ICTS. Here we have left recursion. Another important point, whenever you are applying predictive parser, the grammar does not contains no ambiguity, no left recursion, then left factoring needs to be applied. So then only predictive parser is implemented. So these three are not allowed in predictive parser. So this grammar contains left recursion. First you have to remove. After that you can find out first and follow values. Now coming to summary. As part of top-down parsing, we are discussing predictive parser in the previous class and this class. Here now we computed first sets and follow sets using the algorithm, and various examples are demonstrated. Then the reference is AHO 2 section 4.4.2. So next class now we know how to compute first and follow values. After having first and follow values, then how to construct predictive parsing table, that we will discuss in next class. Now I stop here.